Hey guys, Young Acty the Political Kid here, back again with another video, and this is kind of off the cusp. Honestly, I'm bored, simply put, and I like making videos, so we're coming back with another one. This time, I am recording in my room, so please do bear with me here when it comes to scenery. I know it's not the office, and I know I've gotten a lot of feedback, how people like the office scenery in the background. But yeah, that wasn't available, so we're kicking it here in the room. Let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about Medicare for All, but more specifically, Steven Crowder, and his comments on Medicare for All and the private industry. If you don't know Steven Crowder, he is a political commentator as well. Kind of, I guess. Yeah, okay. We'll just give him that. Well, he's a political commentator. He's more on the funny side, entertainment rather than information. He is a conservative, so we do disagree on a lot of things. We do disagree on quite a lot of things. But I love his Change My Mind videos. If you haven't seen those, they're pretty funny. They're really entertaining. And I wish I had the opportunity to go on one, but it is what it is. So yeah, I keep up with his channel. I watch some of his segments. And the other day, he posted a segment on COVID-19 and basically why Medicare for All is terrible and private insurance is the way to go, right? And basically, there's been a lot of conversation with this whole virus on the benefits of Medicare for All and its impacts and how it could have helped people in this time, and why it should be implemented moving forward. And he just commented on that, and I saw that, and I was like, I could run a video on that. So here's what he said in the first part of the video.
Shouted from the rooftops right now.
Right. Yeah.
Shouldn't we want to give people hope? It seems that they want to give people false hope in this idea of Medicare for All or a socialized healthcare system because, of course, this is what we need to talk about. The claim that we're seeing from the left on the coronavirus pandemic is that we wouldn't have these problems if we had universal healthcare. The public sector could make all of this go away. Here's them saying it because you don't have to take my word for it.
We will talk, I am sure, about Medicare for all. Yes, but when I talk about health care being a human right and all people having health care, the coronavirus crisis makes that abundantly clear as to why it should be.
Wrong.
Is the coronavirus the best case for Medicare for all?
Let's reverse that shot.
Coronavirus is a very good case for Medicare for all, but
it's like looking in through the lens of an aquarium.
Case for Medicare for all the time.
If we had Medicare for all,
Yeah, not much better.
we would have been far better prepared to handle the crisis.
There is no middle ground when it comes to dealing with a national security threat, and Medicare for all is an example of a policy that would take on that threat with the seriousness that it requires to be taken on.
What would Medicare for All do? It would ensure that people actually could get a test for coronavirus, that they could get treatment for the coronavirus.
Come again, retard?
So in that segment there, you saw how a bunch of economists and political commentators came out and really talked about Medicare for All and the benefits that it could bring in a situation like this. Now, they didn't go exactly into detail on that before Steven Crowder kind of went off on a tangent and basically called them all stupid. He talked about how this is socialism and basically that's the worst thing in the world. Now, let's talk about that argument itself, right? How Medicare for All would have helped in this situation. Now, the thing was, we're not saying that people aren't saying that the virus would have completely been cured, and we wouldn't have even had a pandemic had we had Medicare for All in place, because that's not true. There's Medicare for All in most other developed countries. But what we are saying is that it would have been a lot less pressure on individuals that had come up with the virus and had gotten the virus to get treatment, get tested, and worry more about getting back to a place of stability rather than worrying about medical bills and cost. right? Because we've seen, so in the beginning of this, Trump went on national television and he said, oh, the insurance companies have agreed to take care of all testing and treatment. And like 10 minutes later, literally the insurance companies come out and say, well, we never said that. Now, we said we'd take care of testing, but treatment is something very, very different. So they made it clear from jump that treatment was not going to be something that is taken care of under this in this situation at all. That was clear from the beginning. And this is where Medicare for All really would have come in and been a benefit, because the government could have just said, testing and treatment is free. It's no one's fault that they got the virus. This is a worldwide pandemic. It's spreading like wildfire. And you shouldn't have to worry about medical bills when people are losing jobs and worried about whether they can keep the house that they're forced to stay in. So that's really the focus there. And that's where Medicare for All is much better than the private insurance system that we have right now. When it comes to testing that is supposed to be covered, that the government was supposed to have bargained with insurance companies to get covered. So a piece by the Times says that the law requires insurers to cover testing and doctor's office, urgent care, telehealth, or emergency room visits as long as the services relate to the furnishing or administration of a COVID-19 test, or to the evaluation of such individual for purposes of determining the need of a test. That means that if your visit does not result in a COVID-19 test, if you get tested somewhere that is not in your insurance plan's network, or if you're treated in any way besides just getting a test, you could end up with a bill. So basically, let's say you go to the doctor to get tested, and it ends up that you need to be treated immediately because your symptoms were so bad that if you're not hospitalized now, you're gonna be in some serious trouble. So they hospitalize you, and you're footed the bill. They foot you the bill right away. When you were coming in expecting a free testing, and now you're footed with thousands, we'll talk about that later, thousands of dollars to be treated. It brandishes people with further cost, which might not be, which those people might not have jobs at the moment. Unemployment is skyrocketing. It's estimated to really be around 13.1%, which is the highest it's been since the Great Depression. Okay, people are losing their jobs, man. This is people cannot be paying for this stuff. Like this is something we've never seen before. So even though there's just holes in testing, the treatment plan is the absolute worst. So the Times also reported that a new analysis from the Kaiser Family Foundation estimates that the average cost of COVID-19 treatment for someone with employer insurance and without complications would be about $9,763. Someone whose treatment has complications may see bills about double that, $20,292. The researchers came up with those numbers by examining average costs of hospital admissions for people with pneumonia. Guys, we're in a crisis. I don't know if that's really settled with everybody yet, but this is a crisis. This is something unprecedented. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Paying $10,000 to be treated of a pandemic. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Besides the fact that we need Medicare for all. And I was for a public option But these things, this pandemic has really helped to open my eyes, and I was seeing it a little bit before the pandemic after Yang dropped out, but this has really opened my eyes because this could all be covered under Medicare for All. And that's with employer insurance. Take into account all the people that are unemployed right now. The 6.6 million people that filed for unemployment last week. The 3 million people that filed for unemployment 2 weeks ago. Those people lost their insurance. They don't have it. They don't have insurance anymore if they're fired. If they're unemployed. They don't have insurance. It's gone. So what about the cost without insurance? Time also estimated that a cost without insurance, one lady paid $34,000 to get treated for COVID-19. $34,000 because they weren't insured. 27 million people in this country are uninsured. Realize, 27 million people. You might as well just send them to bankruptcy. Just send it to them. Just cease their assets now. Take their house. Just take it. Take it. Take it. And there's this argument, well, we're going to expand Medicaid. But what about the people that are middle class, above the government assistance line, but still can't afford the pressures of having healthcare? There are people that I like that exist. Middle class, that they're surviving, they're doing well. They don't need government assistance, but can't afford the $300, $400 a month for healthcare. And what about those people? They're forgotten. They're forgotten in this system. And that is my biggest problem. This is something that is of nobody's fault. Nobody's fault that this virus is going around. And people could end up in huge, large amounts of debt. And it's something that could be stopped. And that's the fight for Medicare for All. That's what it is. It only is under insurance companies that are considered basically what insurance companies consider a reasonable cost. So if it's over that cost, then that's on you, dude. Like, listen, we pitched in our half. We pitched in our part, dude. You gotta throw in. That's it. Like, we're still running a business here. Like, come on. I don't care if you're dying. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care if you're on a ventilator. I need my bill next month. You hear me? Like, straight up. So that's what's going on. And that's where Medicare for All really could be helping out a lot of different people. He goes on to talk about different companies that have, private companies that have been of big help to masks and ventilators and the whole effort to the manufacturing protective gear and products that are needed during this time.
Allowed to step up, and this, keep in mind too, they were already stepping up, but they weren't allowed to. Did we see the improvement? Since then, what do we have? We have United States companies that have developed the fastest testing kits in the world. Abbott Laboratories, I have that name right. Yeah. Private U.S. company. They invented a COVID test. 5 minutes.
Boom.
You get results.
That's huge.
Only earlier this week. And then they were topped by another company, Bodysphere, developed a 2-minute test that was approved today. 2 is the magic number. 2-minute COVID testing. Stick that in your pipe and kill yourself with it, CDC.
But I went into and I looked at exactly what those companies are and about those companies. And those are all production companies, not actual insurance companies. The insurance companies are saying, you're on your own. They're not being of any real help to this pandemic and this crisis that we're facing. So that whole point is just moot. It's a moot point. So, and private manufacturers wouldn't be gone under Medicare for All, or else who would make the drugs? Like, who would make them? Like, there'd just be no one to make them. So that isn't even, it's like the fact that the companies that are actually stepping up and contributing something to society, he's saying would, what, that the fact that they're doing that is against Medicare for all. For what reason? They're not being abolished, so they would still have that opportunity to step up. But the private insurance companies, which have done nothing, we could actually help people. So the last thing I'm going to comment on before I hop off this video is what he says when he starts to talk about all the other developed countries and their systems and their death rate, right?
There has never been more of a crystallization as to the need for private industry due to the sheer ineptitude of the government. They want to compare us to other countries. This is something that actually I stumbled across. Let's take the countries at the top of the World Health Organization, their rankings, right? They rank us 36th, right next to Slovenia. Now, let's take them with a comparable population size to the United States. Let's look at their total deaths and deaths per capita. Italy's number 2 and Spain is number 7.
Whoops.
We barely edged out Slovenia. Here's the truth.
So close.
Government mucked this up. Private industry.
Here's what I have to say about that. Most of those other countries like Italy, China, Slovenia, all were ahead of where we are right now. We are set to reach the peak of the amount of people getting the virus on Easter, April 12th. That's when we're supposed to reach the peak. And we're already ahead of every single other country in the world right now. Already ahead. So of course, yeah, the deaths rate isn't the same yet, because the amount of people, we haven't reached our peak yet. Other countries have already reached their peak. They're on the decline, opening up businesses, starting lives back up. But we were so behind on our response that now we're just starting to reach the peak. While everybody else is coming off, we're just getting onto the peak. And there's an estimate of 1 million deaths, people. 1 million American lives could be lost because of this virus. 1 million. And people and Trump and his team are saying 100,000, 200,000 would be a victory. That's great. That's good news. That's a great number to you. Come on, man. Come on. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's so crazy. If Al-Qaeda killed 100,000, 200,000 people, Kyle Kalinske said this on one of his segments. If Al-Qaeda killed that many people, there'd be nukes dropped onto the world. We would nuke the entire Middle East. It would be gone. It would just be a patch of dirt, or whatever's under earth, whatever's under dirt. It wouldn't even be dirt. It would be underneath that. It would be gone. The whole first layer gone. We would go crazy. And we're here celebrating 100,000, 200,000 deaths like it's some kind of huge victory. And it's not. So, yeah, there were a lot of issues with our response and stuff. But those are the benefits of Medicare for All in this sort of situation. And that's it. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, dislike if you didn't like anything about the video or didn't agree with me. Comment, make sure to comment why if you disliked. Comment some things you've thought about the video. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you can get notified whenever we post up videos. And lastly, please share this video. Let's get more people onto the Young Active train. Share it to your friends, family, neighbors, all that. So thank you guys again. See you next time.